Hi, this is Neus from Miss Mesa, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use calligraphy pens to do brush calligraphy. The first thing you need to know in order to do brush pen calligraphy is how to hold the marker. We will hold the marker in this area here, not too down and not too up. This way we will be able to have the movement we need, and this way we can also hold the pen at 45 degrees, which is the inclination we need. Not too vertical and not too horizontal, which would be very uncomfortable. Okay, so it is more or less in this area and more or less 45 degrees. This way it will be easier for us to make the strokes with different thicknesses. The next thing we have to consider is how to hold the marker. Each person holds the pens in a different way. Some people hold them like this, some people hold them like this. If you are not sure, I recommend you to hold the marker between the index finger and the thumb, and rest it on the middle finger, and let it fall into the hollow of the hand. This way you will have a good grip and you will be able to move it well. And another thing to keep in mind is that you need to move the whole hand, not just the fingers, but to have the full movement. Knowing all this, we can begin the practice. The basic concept is thin up, thick down. The way to achieve this is to use more pressure on the downstrokes and less on the upstrokes. We begin by practicing the upstrokes. We have to apply a little pressure to make thin upward strokes, just touching the paper. I'm going to draw just a few sample strokes, but I recommend you to make a lot of each one of the drills I'm going to show you. Next, we are going to practice downstrokes, which are thicker. We need to apply more pressure, and the flexible tip will make the rest. The calligraphy pens have very reliable tips, so with some practice you will master it. After you have practiced these two types of strokes, which are the basis of calligraphy, let's put them together to form this inverted V shape. A thin stroke without pressing, and a thick stroke pressing more, thin and thick. Now let's practice curves. We are going to start by practicing underturns. Again, I go down applying pressure and go up with less pressure. It's very important that you don't apply pressure all the way down, but start releasing as you approach the end of the downward stroke. I begin thick, let off a little bit of pressure, make the turn, and go up thin. This is a little hard at first, but with calmness and practice you will be great. Now I'm going to do the same, but in reverse for the overturn. I start up thin, turn, and press more to the downstroke. Again, it is very important that you don't start pressing as soon as you get to the top. I first turn, make the curve, and once you start the downstroke, gradually add pressure until you complete it. In the next drill, we combine the two because we are going to draw ovals. I'm going to start at the top right of the letter, draw up, make the turn, start applying pressure to the downstroke, release pressure to draw back up, and close the oval. You may have noticed that I don't start with the downstroke, because if I did, I will have a hard time closing the oval and getting it right, because I will have to match two thick strokes. Since matching two thin strokes is much easier, I start at the top of the thin one, and this way this oval is much cleaner. So here's a trick for making O's and making them look better. Next, we are going to practice some loops. We start with something similar to the letter E. I begin by drawing a small loop, and then I close it in a similar way to what we have done with the oval. Very slowly and calmly, enjoying the strokes. One more, but you should practice these drills for at least a couple of lines to get a better practice. The following are the loops that we will use for the ascenders and descenders of the letters. As you see, I start by making the loop similar to the previous one, but a little narrower, and finish with a straight downstroke. This will be useful for the L, the H, and the D or the F if we draw them with a loop. And now the other way around. I start with a downstroke, thick, release pressure to go up in a curve and make this a small loop. Once again, I descend and I go up with a thinner line. This stroke will be useful for the G or the J. And these are some basic calligraphy strokes. I recommend you to practice them a lot because then it will be much easier for you to draw letters. Now you only have to practice all these drills. See you in the next video. Bye!